Okay, first, before I start it, I've been calling these boil for a long, long time. The very first one I had, the E looked bigger like an L. This is the brand I'll be talking about. And I'm going to call it boil, bait, all kinds of stuff. This is the brand. It's got the right kind of heads on them for starting, okay? Okay, now to start it. Hi guys, Crafty Crystal here. I'm starting a very beginner series, and of which I did one part actually already about straight sides. I'm going to start at the beginning. For those of you who've never picked up a crochet hook, and I'm going to start with crochet hooks. All crochet hooks are not created equal, and I'm talking about the regular crochet hooks. I'm not talking about the ones with all the fancy handles. Regular crochet hooks that a person would start with, okay? Now, they have different kinds of heads. These two here are J hooks. Trying to get enough light on them and not shine is kind of hard. Can you see that this one has kind of a broad rounded head on it? Okay. This is a little bit fatter design than this one. This is a hero, and this is a boil. Boils have the smallest heads of all the hooks I have, and I really like that when I'm trying to do something intricate where I have to really get in little holes. I also like to do it if I'm doing something side by side because side edges are a little harder to get into sometimes. Okay, so when you first start out, I would go for the boil because they're easier to get into the holes that you're trying to pull the loop out while you're learning. Okay, and then this is the hero. It's a little wider on top. The head is actually almost as wide as the neck. Oh, it's so hard to see this right. There we go. You see the head is almost as wide as the neck, whereas the boil one tapers as it goes down. Okay? Now, this is Gaston Butts, looks like. Gaston Bates. Okay. This is a K hook, and this is a K hook. Now, these are both K hooks. I don't care if this one looks smaller around than that one. I measured them both with a caliper. They are both 255 thousandths wide, all the way around. It's only looks. You would swear that this was bigger than the other. I think because it's matte and the way the light shines on it or goes around it. But this has a very different head. I'll get this in view if it kills me. Well, it might kill me. Oh, let's see. I barely see it. It like comes back in a little. It comes back in a little actual slot like, and it'll really catch your yarn. And it's got a head. It's got a neck down here that is wide as the body. And the head comes out almost as wide as the body. Okay? This has a different feel to it when you're working with it. It's got a little bit more. Oh, there goes the burr again. It has a little bit more pointy head than the hero, because the hero's more flat and wide, but not quite as pointy as the Bates. Okay? No, Boyle. Sorry, Boyle. Those companies are going to hate me. I can't say the names right. Okay, as you can see, the neck comes down nicely under the hook, but it also comes down nicely on the sides. So your head is narrower than your neck. Okay? It's wider this way, but it's a lot narrower this way. This one is as wide this way as it is here, and as wide this way as it is here, and narrow in the nose. Now, what do all these mean? They're all going to have a slightly different feel to them as far as trying to make a stitch with them. I like these best for beginners because they get in places better, and actually I think I like the grip best. The grip's always a little bit longer, and it's got nice high raised letters on it, and you can really control with it. The grip is in the wrong place for me. It doesn't do it for me. I end up, it's the way I hold. I think I probably learned on one of my grandmas, and maybe she had this one, the Boyle. But whatever you get, I'm more comfortable with these. I don't know why, but if I'm trying to make something really loose, like a big fluffy sweater or a big baby blanket, I'll go back to either the Hero or the Bates, because the heads are wider and they won't let me crochet smaller. They won't allow it. Okay. Find some hooks that you're comfortable. Well, you won't be comfortable with any hook to start with, will you? Start out with a Boyle. I think that would be best for you to start with. If you end up with one of these, the Bates ones, you'll get used to it. Heroes are hard to get used to because they're blunt in both directions. But I would start with the Bates. So today I'm going to start out with a Bates K. Now, the first thing you're going to be doing, as always, is a chain stitch. You're going to want to learn to do a nice, fluffy, easy to get into chain stitch. Your first chain stitch practice will not be nice and fluffy and easy to get into. It'll most likely look like this. Whereas if you can even see the back humps, they're practically buried inside. See how little that is? Quite a difference. It is a difference. When I was a little girl, my grandma gave me a ball of yarn, and she sat me down with the yarn and a crochet hook, showed me how to chain, and she said, chain that whole ball of yarn, then unravel it and chain the whole ball of yarn again, and unravel it and do it 3 times, and then come back and I'll teach you how to crochet. Well, she didn't tell me what I was supposed to be learning when I chained. And when I was finished, my chains looked pretty much like this. My hands were cramped. I wasn't all sure I even wanted to learn crochet. So I'm going to teach you how to start your chain and how to practice. And you're going to go take your ball of yarn and you're going to practice. But you won't end up with cramped hands and not wanting to learn to crochet. Okay? First, you take some yarn and you're going to do a slip stitch. So just put the yarn around your finger like that. Put it around again. Grab it. You're taking this loose stuff over here because you want to wrap a loop around it. This is going to be where your loop is that your hook is in. And you want to wrap the loop around it, okay? So it has to be in front of it in order for you to wrap a loop around it. That's why you remember, you pull it forward, okay? Now we're going to take the loop we want to tighten and we're going to stick it around that. See there? Just like that. You want to put this in front because you want to wrap this loop around it. So we're just going to pull it and like that. See? Very easy. Wrap around, and this part here that has your skein on it, your ball on it. This is going to go in front because that's the loop on your hook that you want to tie the knot around, your slip knot. And this is going to be your slip knot. That's why you're holding on here. You take this over and just slip it off the top. And when you tighten it, you've got your slip knot, okay? So, you make your slip knot. And the first thing you want to do when you're learning, bring your slip knot up to where your handle widens and make sure it feels loose and easy on there. Now to learn to make them loose, you're going to use the neck a lot, okay? You're going to want to use this neck. You take your 3 fingers here and you just lightly cup your yarn. I'm not gripping it. I'm not wrapping it. I'm just lightly gripping the yarn, okay? Lightly cupping it. And I'm going to stick my front finger in front because I'm going to be using my finger and my thumb to hold my material, and I don't want the yarn in the way. If it was down here, I'd probably end up holding it between the yarn and the material. So you grab, stick your finger and thumb in front of it, okay? Now see how loose the yarn is? You just kind of smooth it down and smooth it back real easy like that, see? And I'm barely gripping the yarn. See how easy that moves? That's how hard you want to grip the yarn. You want to just barely have to move it, okay? So do that a couple times. Make sure you can move the yarn easy, because if you have to pull the yarn and tighten your hook, the loop on your hook, then you're holding it too tight. You want to just feel like it's effortlessly flowing through, like you could pull the whole skein of yarn through and not even realize your hand was closed on it, okay? All right. Now, when you come to your yarn, you always want to go under. You want to back into your yarn. So you're going to back into it. Now when you back into it, this front part is all automatically under your hook. It's automatically ready there to get caught. And when you pull it, your loop is in the same direction as the loop you're coming into. Let's see if I can do this better. Just a minute. Okay. You back into your yarn, and when you pull it, you're going to see that your hook is trying to pull the loop through the side of your loop. your loop comes down in a point here. So does your hook. So when you bring your loop in, you're going to want to slide your hook down so it slips through that hole. Okay? So instead of going this way, you're going to turn it like that and pull it through. Okay, so we back into the yarn, and when you pull it, you turn it so that it's pulling through like that. Now, push your yarn forward and back. That will raise it up on here. It'll make sure it doesn't say tiny near your hook. It'll make it looser. Back into your yarn. Move your fingers up to take care, hold the stitch you just made. Turn your hook down. Pull through the hole. Slide it up your hook. Hold it. Hold your last stitch. Slide it under your hook. Pull it through. Slide it up on the shaft here. Hold it. Pull it through. Slide it up in the shaft. Now, when you go under, you're going to be letting go a little bit so this can slide up enough you can get under your stitch, and that's when you hold it. So right now you're holding this stitch. When you slide under, you let it loose, and then you hold the last stitch you did and pull it through. And remember, you're not holding on to this strong. And like that. Now the reason why you want to practice loose chains is you're going to be coming back into these back bumps. I turned my chain there. Sure did. When you turn your chain, okay. When you have a loop on your hook, your feed line, which is the one that goes to your skein, is always going to be on your side. It's always going to be on your side. So if you pick it up and it pulls on the other side, your chain's wrong. Your hook's wrong. Turn your hook around until you can see that the thread comes out the back and the feed comes towards you, okay? And your line won't get messed up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make some more big ones. When you hold them, your stitches stay good. Load, you can call it load, you can call it yarn over, you can call it wrap. Hold, pull. Load, hold, pull. Load, hold, pull. Okay? And now you have, this is hard. Close-up's hard. Now you have these nice big fluffy loops in back that you'll be able to stick your hook through, because that's what you're going to be doing. Okay? Now, save this film and look at it once in a while and see what I said about which side your feed line's on, about how to ride it up your hook, and about where to hold it, because holding it is really going to control how big your loops are. Now I'll show you what happens, why a lot of people get cramped when they start. First of all, they're gripping the yarn, so you really have to pull to get it through. Now, if I just did that, held it tight, okay, if that's all I did was hold it tight, then I'm going to end up with a smaller stitch. Just doing that because you're fighting your hook through, okay? See there? See the difference that made? Also, if you don't hold it here and you hold it too tight, your stitches are going to be pulled tight because this back stitch here, this is your stitch. Oh boy, this is the part of your stitch that is made from this loop. So when you have to pull, it's pulling this too, and that's tightening that, and that's why your last stitch will get tight. So you're not only tightening your front one that you're making, you're tightening the last one you just made. Okay? So you don't want to hold it tight because if you hold it tight, your hands are going to cramp. Your fingers are going to cramp. Your thumb's going to cramp. This is going to feel tight in through here, and your whole hand will get tight. If you have to, you can wrap your yarn around like that. It's not a good habit. There will be times when you'll need it, but for a chain, try to get used to just wrap your yarn, pull it through. Wrap your yarn, pull it through. And just get used to automatically sticking it up your shaft. Okay? When you do that, it automatically stays looser, especially if you're holding it loose. See, I'm barely holding it all. See there? That's all you want to do. You want to guide it. And if you don't go up on the neck and you end up doing this, I just do it automatically now. Try to do it without doing it automatically. Try, Chris. Try. Okay. If you're doing this, even though I'm holding it loose, it's still going to be smaller because it's not coming up, and if you come up a little bit more, sometime you'll have different size. Like when you might accidentally come up this far, another time you might keep it in the head. You're going to have this size loop and that size loop. And while you're learning, your yarn's going to be tighter. Just go back to the basics. Always make sure that your yarn is totally loose. If you have to pull it out of the skein with each stitch, it's going to change the size of your loops. It's going to change how hard it is to pull the loop through. So make sure your yarn is laying loose. Loose as a goose. Okay? So you put your hook in. Make sure that your feed yarn is coming out towards you. Okay? Go through, pull it through, slide up, yarn through, pull it through, slide up, yarn through, pull it through, slide up, and all the time, yarn through, pull it through. See how tight my fingers are? Barely. Okay? Barely. I'm not gripping. It's kind of hard to show that part, isn't it? Here. Let's see if I can. Now you should be able to see that my hands are not tight. This would be tight. This is just kind of laying there, allowing the yarn to pull through. Okay, now I'm going to tell you what my grandma did. Take your hook, your yarn, ball of yarn, and go sit down and make a chain out of the whole ball. And then undo it all, wrap your ball up, and make a chain out of your whole ball. And of course, the easiest way to do that is as you unroll it, you go to the very end so that you have a ball to start with. You roll your yarn up as you go, and when it's all done, you have the other end, you have your ball of yarn, you start all over. Because boy, will yarn tangle. Ooh! Okay, so that's what I want you to do. You find yourself a hook that you're happy with, and I really do think that the boils are the best for you to start with because of the shape of their head. I would start with an I, a J, or a K. Whichever one of those you can find. They're the little bit bigger ones. G and H are a little bit smaller. I made this with an H. I made this with a J. The stitches are not, it's not that much bigger. They're pretty close to the same when you're making your project. But these will be easier for you to handle, and it should help you get used to a hook. It's easier to learn to go down from a hook size than it is to learn to go up from a hook size. So I would start with a J or a K. And you want to do and undo your hooks, your balls of yarn, until all your loops are loose. You can see light through all of them. You see light through the top, see light through the bottom. See there? See how you can see the light through it? If you can see through your stitches, you did it right. And when you're looking back, see nice high bumps. Okay? Those bumps are important because you're going to be using those a lot. Okay? Okay. So you come back when you've practiced. Could be a couple days, could be a couple weeks. When you're happy with your stitches, you're going to be very happy when we go back into them. Okay? All right. Happy hooking.